Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your girl Lana Simone. So first of all, I wanted to welcome you guys in. Hope you're having an amazing day. So today we're going to be talking about, are you mad at God or are you mad at people? And so I think this is a really important question. Oftentimes we go through life and we experience hurt, we experience pain, we experience traumatic things. And it's just things unexpected or expected that are maybe not the best that come in our life. And one of these things that I feel like a lot of people deal with, and when it pertains to God, is hurt. And so I think today it's really important to talk about this because we need to understand why people are hurt and why people feel this way. And we need to understand where this hurt is coming from. And so that's why, the topic today is, are we mad at God or are we mad at people? And so, one thing that I've learned when I've, really had come across people that have experienced hurt, or they don't really want to have anything to do with God, or they have like issues with God or something like that. When you listen to these people, you realize and understand that a lot of their hurt stems from a person. And so a person that usually was maybe like a Christian or maybe a religious person, or somebody from a church, something like in those lines. So knowing that and understanding that, okay, for me hearing them, I can understand it. And so that's why I feel like it's very important. I always say it's best to, when you listen, you should listen with the intent to understand rather than the intent to respond. Because when you listen to understand, then you can give a response and gain clarity of what the person is saying. But when you listen to respond, you're in a reactive mode. And so you are going to react and respond. It's going to be more out of emotions and feeling rather than understanding what the person is actually saying. And so listening to understand with these conversations, I'm like, okay, I understand it. I'm like, wow, okay. So when you dig deeper into these conversations and when you really take the time to listen and understand these people, you understand that they're hurt. They mask their hurt and say that they don't want to have nothing to do with God. God's not real. Jesus not real. All this stuff. But behind the hurt, it's usually always a story. It's a story that brings that people have usually caused them pain. And the pain, and unfortunately, the people that have caused them pain were people who represented God. And so what they did was ended up tying their pain, and instead of the person being blamed for it, God got blamed for it. And so, that's really unfortunate. But that's sometimes how pain can take us. That's sometimes how hurt can take us. We end up blaming somebody that didn't have anything to do with it. That's like how when gossip is spread, or like when different things is spread, it's like, you end up blaming a person without even hearing their side. If you haven't talked to that person, but you blame them based off of what somebody else has said and stuff. So, that's a similar situation that I would just wanted to kind of give an example for. But just understanding that and knowing that is like, wow, okay, so the hurt, people are, when we say mad at God or mad at people, we can now understand that a lot of people are not really so much mad at God, but they're mad at the people who are misrepresenting him. And so what that causes is a lot of people to drift away from God, not want to have nothing to do with God, and don't really want to hear what anybody got to say about God, because why would they hear that when they got people who claim they love God and therefore God that's mistreating them and treating them any type of way? Like, nobody want to hear that. And so I think the biggest thing to be able to start fixing this and just, find a solution for these type of things is really sitting down and having a conversation with people. And really, just as Christians, believers, just people in general, we need to just make sure we're treating people better, that we have good character, that we have good morals, and that we have good values, and that we're actually living by them and not just speaking about them. Because it's one thing to speak about something, but it's another thing to live out something. And so that's what a lot of people are missing. They have a lot of talk, and they're talking a lot. They're saying a lot of stuff, but their actions are not aligning with what they're saying. And so we have to understand that we have the power, and we have the power to be able to make a change. And the change stems from us doing better with not only our words, because even in our speech, we need to make sure that we are doing right and living right and being good examples of Christ. But we also need to make sure in our actions as well that we are living right, that we're setting a standard for people to follow. And so, the biggest example, like I always say this, Jesus gave a perfect example, of how we should live and how we should treat people and how we should just, represent him on this earth. And I think oftentimes people forget because they get so caught up in just daily living. They get so caught up with the emotions of life that they just kind of just do whatever they want and forget that we're actually not just representing ourselves, but we're representing God in any and all things that we do. And so we don't have to be perfect, but we need to make sure that we're doing better and setting good examples, because when we don't, we are causing unnecessary hurt and unnecessary pain to people that unfortunately is using that as a blocker for them to be able to have a relationship with God. And so at the end of the day, these people have to, process that and deal with that and still make a choice, because it's, we can't let our hurt and pain from people separate us from God. Because at the end of the day, when we all get to judgment and when we all come to face with God, he's not going to be like, oh, so what did such and such say to you? And like, we can't be like, well, they told me that, I don't know what people be telling them. Like, they told me something crazy, and so that's why I stopped believing in you. That's why I didn't want to have a relationship with you. He's going to be looking at you like, listen, that ain't had nothing to do with me, because God knows how to separate the two, but we have to learn how to separate the two. We have to learn that people are going to be people. People are going to be people, and people are going to be people. People are going to hurt you. People are going to gossip about you. People are going to cause you pain. People are going to cause you hurt. But we have to get to a level of maturity and understanding to know that, yes, these people may have done this, and we're not negating or dismissing what they have done, because what people do to people, I've seen it, I've heard stories, it's crazy, the things that people do, especially the ones who proclaim God and walk around with the cross on their neck. But so we're not excusing their behavior. We're not saying what they did was not wrong. We're saying that, first of all, the people who cause hurt and the people who do this will have to answer to God as well. And so you can walk around here talking crazy to people, acting like you God and all this stuff. Listen, it's going to come a day where we all stand face to face, and you're going to have to be humble. Well, we hope you be humble, okay? And you're going to have to give an account for what you say out your mouth. And I hope that people understand that your actions will have consequences, and your words that you speak to people, especially if you're coming on behalf of God. I hope you're ready for what is going to come on you, when that day comes. But nonetheless, we're not excusing what people say, but we have to come to a point where we can find in our heart to understand that people are going to be people, and it's unfortunate what they do. It's unfortunate what they say. And people do some crazy things and can hurt you in many different ways. And I can, never imagine some of the hurt that, a lot of people go through, because your hurt is your hurt and your experience is your experience. But please understand and hear me to know that you have to find it in your heart somehow to forgive. You have to find it in your heart somehow to let go. You have to find in your heart somehow to learn how to separate that hurt that people have caused you. To not allow it to pour into your relationship with God and pour into you, preventing you to, even wanting to have anything to do with God. It's so unfortunate what people do. People can hurt you to the point where you don't want to have anything to do with God, and you then can create a picture of God in your head as if he's this like really terrible God. And you're just like, I don't want nothing to do with this, because people can take you there. People can treat you like you're nothing. People can say things to you that are so hurtful, that can cause you pain, the pain to run deep to where you don't want nothing to do with God. And I understand that. But please hear me to know that you have to, forgiveness starts with us, and knowing that it's not really, forgiveness is more for us than it is for those people. Because listen, if people hurt and people bitter and people nasty and negative like that, that's just the type of person they are, and they got issues and stuff they need to deal with and work through. But knowing that the gift of forgiveness is free. The gift of forgiveness is necessary, especially when we face situations like that, because it's really for you. The gift is for you. And the gift is realizing that it's not negating what these people did or what they have said, but it's allowing yourself to become free. It's allowing the chains and the strongholds and the pain and the hurt to be released from you. It's allowing you to be able to have a weight released off of you. It's allowing you to be able to release the words spoken over you, release the actions and the things that people have done to you. It's for you, because we don't ever want to get to a point where we allow that hurt to run so deep that it takes us away from God, that it takes us away from being able to experience the love that God has for us. It's so sad to even think about, and I'm trying not to get emotional, because I understand people's hurt, because when you've been hurt, you have more compassion to be able to understand, the feeling of being hurt. Everybody has been hurt in their life. Everybody has experienced pain. But I feel like a religious type of hurt and religious type of pain can run deep. I feel like it can run deep. And oftentimes it can really cause people to turn away from God. It can cause people to be angry and bitter and resentful towards God and anybody who even decides to represent him moving forward, because people can hurt you. People, especially who represented God or represent God, but in their position they misrepresent him. And it's just so sad to think about, because it's just so sad to see people get hurt. It's sad to hear the stories. It's sad to experience it yourself. But I just really hope that people can understand that God is still here for you. God still loves you. And God understands your pain. He understands your hurt. He understands your frustration. He understands your brokenness. He understands what these people did to you and how they hurt you and what they said to you and what they did to you. He's seen it and he understands it. And so today, on behalf of these people, I just pray that, ask for forgiveness on behalf of them, and just pray that you can find in your heart to forgive, and really find in your heart to release and let it go. The pain, the trauma, anything that you've experienced, I pray that you can let that go today. I pray that you can receive God in a new way today. I pray that you can see that he still loves you. He's never stopped loving you, and that he still wants to have a relationship with you. And I pray that you can see him as for who he is rather than see him for who these people are. Because people are going to be people. And unfortunately, people haven't done the best at representing him in the correct way. And so today I just pray that you can see something different. I pray that you know that God hears your cries. He hears your he sees the pain. He understands what has happened and what has been done in this world. And he just he knows. He knows. And we can sit here and blame forever. We can sit here and hold on to anger and bitterness and pain forever. Or we can choose to let it go. Even though it can be hard, even though you might be fighting right now and being like, girl, why are you even talking to me? Get off this screen, because do you know what these people did to me? Listen. People have hurt me. People have hurt my family. People have hurt people around me. And so I fully understand how deep the pain and how deep the hurt can go. But I do understand, and I've came to an understanding to know that, one, these people, I won't ever give somebody the power to allow them to be able to separate me from God. And to be able to allow them to separate me from my relationship from him and the love that he has for me. Because I learned something. I learned that people are going to be people. I learned that people are dealing with their own issues. I learned that people are dealing with their own pain. And unfortunately, if people don't deal with their issues, they don't deal with their pain, it bleeds over into the next person. And so there's a toxic cycle that's been happening of pain, trauma, hurt that's been bleeding over. It's an open wound that's just been bleeding from one person to the next. And so because when nobody took a stance and spoke up, or nobody took a stance and chose forgiveness, we allowed our pain and our hurt to keep on running over. We never went to the doctors and closed the wound. We just left it open. And so when you leave a wound open, it bleeds. It bleeds. And it bleeds. And it bleeds on any and everything around it. And so today I want to stop the bleeding. Today I want to stop the bleeding that's been happening to person after person. The pain, the anger, the bitterness that's been bleeding out. Today, I want to take a stance and take a stop and make it stop. Today, we want to visit the doctor, which is God, and allow him to heal our wounds. Allow him to heal, Lord, the wounds that these people have caused. It's time for the wound to be closed. I'm getting a little emotional. Let me stop. It's time for the wound to be closed. It's time for the wound to be sealed up by the doctor, which is God. And for it to stop bleeding. And for it to stop running over into other people. It's time for us to let the doctor in to heal our wounds. And to heal the places where pain, where anger, where bitterness, and where resentment towards God and towards his people have once resided. It's time to allow his spirit to flow in like never before and heal our wounds. And so today I pray that you can receive his healing. I pray that you can receive the cure from the doctor, which is God. for him to wash away your pain, for him to wash away your anger, for him to wash away your bitterness, for him to wash away your resentment, for him to wash away the evil image that you have, that people have unfortunately created by misrepresenting him in this world. I pray that it can just wash away today. I pray that you allow him to come in and move in your life like never before and heal every wound that's been bleeding, heal every wound that's been open and need to be closed. You know, forgiveness is a beautiful thing. Forgiveness is a sweet thing because it, like I said, it's not just for the person, but it's really, forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is for you to receive, a gift for you to receive, to be able to move forward in life, not having to hold on to pain, not having to hold on to bitterness, resentment, and anger, and not continue to allow it to have power over you. Because when we allow something to have too much power over us, it can then cause us to, it can cause more harm to us at the end of the day. And so we don't want that to happen. We want to be able to release things. We want to be able to move forward. And we really want to be able to allow God to be in our lives and just to really, help form a different picture of him and really be able to see him for who he truly is, And so when you see God for who he truly is, you understand that he is so amazing, he is so loving, and he is so merciful and graceful, and he really wants the best for you, and he really loves you and desires to have a relationship with you and desires to see you smile and to see you happy and to see you live a life where it's just really beneficial to you and those around you. So today I really just pray that this video could encourage you, that it could really just give you some new insight and maybe help bring healing to someone, or maybe help, really help someone. Because listen, reality is we've all been hurt. Reality is we've all experienced pain. Reality is we all go through things, but we have to be able to learn how to move forward and gain a new understanding so that moving forward we can do better, and moving forward we don't have to continue to be weighed down by trauma and hurt and pain and allow that to be able to keep us from God. So you guys, I really thank you so much for being here. I really, really pray this video encouraged you today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.